Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to review how to read the notes and rests and how to count rhythms. So let's take a look at them. Whole, half, quarter, eighth, and 16th. What? We're talking about different lengths of notes. A whole note is worth 4 beats. So if I play it, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4. Half note is worth 2 beats. 1, 2. Quarter is worth 1, 1. Eighth is worth half of a beat, 1. And 16th is a quarter of a beat. Very short. Here's another way to look at it. The length of time that a note is played is called its note duration, which is determined by the type of note. The whole note has the longest note duration in modern music. The half note is half the duration of a whole note. 2 half notes take up the same amount of time as 1 whole note. The quarter note is a fourth or a quarter of the whole note. Think of an apple. An apple is a whole. You cut it in half, you now have 2 halves. You cut that again, and now you have 4 quarters. 4 quarter notes take up the same amount of time as 1 whole note. 2 quarter notes is the same as 1 half note. If we add a flag to it, this little part here is called a flag, now we have eighth notes. So 1 eighth note has 1 flag. 2 eighth notes are needed for 1 quarter note. A 16th note has 2 flags, having the value once again. So now we need 2 16th notes for 1 eighth note, but we need 4 16th notes for 1 quarter note. Although it is possible to have notes with 3, 4, or even more flags, they're very seldom used because that would be really, really fast. So let's take a look. This would be an eighth note, just 1 flag. This is a 16th note. What do you think this one is? I'll give you a second. A 32nd note. What do you think this one would be? If this one was 32, a 32nd note, what do you think? A 64th note. So you would need 64 of these in 1 measure. That's a lot, which is why they're barely used. So here's the way to see it all. So you need 16 16th notes in 1 measure, 8 eighth notes, 4 quarter notes, 2 half notes, and 1 whole note. So each one of these lines is a whole measure, 1 measure. Now let's take a look at the rests. Rests represent times of silence in music or in a measure. This is a perfect time for you to take a breath. Each type of rest shares a duration with this certain type of note. So here we have a whole note. This is your whole rest. They both get 4 beats. This is a half note. This is a half rest. Both get 2 beats. Your quarter note. This is your quarter rest. 1 beat. Eighth note, an eighth rest, half of a beat. A 16th note, a 16th rest, a quarter of a beat. While a note would make a sound, the rest is silent. To demonstrate this, let's fill up a measure 4/4 time with quarter notes. When played, all 4 notes sound. Next, we're going to replace one of the quarter notes with a quarter rest. Now when played, the second beat is now silent. 1, 2, 3, 4. You still count it, you just don't play it. Now let's talk about the other types of rests. Your whole rest is the same as a whole note, so it's 4 beats. It hangs from the 4th line. The half rest is the same as the half note, 2 beats. This box is drawn on top of the 3rd line. Just like your eighth notes and so on, rests can have flags. This is a flag for a rest. With 1 flag, an eighth rest is the same as an eighth note. With 2 flags, the 16th rest is the same as the 16th note. And again, we also have a 32nd rest and a 64th rest. And we can keep going after that. We can have a 128th rest or a 256th rest. But again, those are much rarer. So here you can see it just like the notes. We need 16 16th rests in 1 measure. 8 eighth rests in a measure, 4 quarter rests in a measure, 2 half rests in one measure, or 1 whole rest in a measure. Now let's talk about how to count these things. When we count, you always want to start with 1. Every measure is a new downbeat, or we start back at 1. So we would count these as 1, 2, 3, 4. You would clap on 1, and then you hold it for 4 beats. So if we clap, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. If we play it, we would play it as 1, 2, 3, 4. You hold it for 4 beats. So let's go ahead and try to clap this. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This last one is a rest. We still count it, but we don't clap because it's a rest. Let's take a look at the half notes and rests. For these, because it only gets 2 beats, you would clap, drag just once, and then re-clap again. So we are going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do it with me. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The last one is the rest, so don't clap on 3. Next one is counting the quarter notes and rests. Quarter notes only get 1 beat, so each one gets their own clap. Try it with me. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those last 3 are rests, so again, don't clap on those. Next up is your eighth notes and rests. Now for this, we have to start using what's called ands, or its little plus sign. So for this one, we have to fit 2 notes into 1 beat. So we're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Try it with me. Ready? Go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Remember the ending, our rests, so we don't clap. Finally, 16th notes. For these ones, again, we get even trickier. We have to add in extra things. We are going to add in E and A. So now we're going to clap it as 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A. Okay, try it with me. Ready? Go. 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A. Now all of this is just one measure. Because remember, you need 16 of these in one measure. And that's what there is. So now let's look at something with 2 measures. So now take a look at these last 2 measures. Here are 16th rests. Remember, don't clap here. Let's try the bottom line. Ready? Go. 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A, 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A. All right. Hopefully this makes sense.